6 p.m. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting of the Charter Township of Bedford to order. We could do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call whenever you're ready.
Okay. Jean McKay.
Here.
Claudia Brown. Here. Ray Tuttle is here. Kevin Villison.
Here.
Michael Stab.
Here.
Robbie Jones. Here. Tony Artis.
Here.
That's 7 of present. Quorum is established.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is going to be approval of the September 23rd agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
Claudia and then Barb. Any discussion on the agenda itself? Okay, seeing none. Roll call.
All right. Tony Artis.
Yeah.
Barbara Jones.
Yes.
Michael Stab.
Yeah.
Kevin Villison.
Yes.
Claudia Brown. Yes. Jean McKay.
Yes.
Shirley Tuttle. Yes. 7. Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is going to be approval of our July 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes some time ago. So I have motion, Kevin. Support. Support from Trustee McKay. Any discussion on those minutes? Okay, seeing none. Roll call on that, please.
Okay. Kevin Vallison.
Yes.
Michael Stab.
Yes.
Barbara Jones.
Yes.
Tony Artis.
Yeah.
Claudia Brown.
Yes.
Jean McKay.
Yes.
Shirley Tuttle. Yes. 7. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you for that. Next item on the agenda is going to be our building and zoning report from Cody. He looks like he's enclosed in the back of your packet there, just basically his regular report that he does for the board. I am going to ask him to kind of give the commission an update on our special land use applications that we have out. We have quite a few right now. I think what, 4 in total, Cody?
3 in total.
3 in total.
I did just receive a rezone request as well.
Okay, all right. So I guess if you could just kind of tell us what applications we have out. We don't necessarily need to, know where we're at on, documents and whatnot. Is there anything that's going to be public hearing ready in the next 30 days, I guess?
I believe so.
Okay.
At least one of them
Okay.
will be.
And which one is that going to be? I guess what 4 do we have out right now?
We have Paisley's.
Okay, yep.
And we have I forget their name, the dog rescue.
Okay.
And then we have the yard waste recycling compost over on River Road.
Yep.
And then we received a rezone. It's currently a rural and neighborhood residential, and they're hoping to get switched to mixed use in a property off Morgan Road.
Okay. And do we have anything cooking with Casey's, the gas station?
I spoke with him. It was either last Wednesday or Thursday, and they were going to get me the hard plans in the mail.
Okay.
Including the landscaping plan.
Okay.
And then that also included the MEP plans and all the building documents and everything like that. So
okay.
That is coming. And then we also had just, as of yesterday, had someone coming in inquiring about another gas station where the old gas station was directly across from where Casey's.
Okay.
They want to rebuild that brownfield site
Okay.
with the land bank and open another gas station. And that is a local person.
Okay. Can they is that?
I'm still going through it.
Okay.
It'll be tight with all the setbacks and everything like that.
Right.
It seems doable if they position things correctly and don't have
Okay.
like a huge store attached.
Okay. All right. And just to refresh the commission's mind on the Casey's, that was a condition of their approval that they submitted their landscape plan when and if they were ready to move forward. So that is not something that we're gonna open back up for a public hearing. That's just make sure that the condition of approval is met and satisfied.
Okay.
And that was regarding the buffer between on the east side of the property, if I remember correctly. So we just asked them to turn in a site plan that showed the landscaping in particular. Yes.
Real quick, so there's several matters are ready for public hearing?
No,
Okay.
probably just one right now.
What is that?
Paisley.
So did it ever get addressed in the, who gets the final approval for a special land use? I know there was some discussion back and forth, maybe some provisions that contradicted itself in the zoning ordinance, whether it's a PC or board.
So technically right now, so in section 13, it says that we'll make a recommendation to the board regarding the special land use. So site review is under our purview now, but the way the zoning ordinance reads is that we'll we'll hold the public hearing. We're responsible for the site review. And then the finding of fact, going through the standards, both the general and then the specific standards for that special land use application. And then we would take those findings and issue them to the board. Now that is something that I think the commission when we get there, are gonna clean up, and make that solely. I mean, the intent I think was that it rested at this level the whole way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Obviously we're gonna be a ways from that, and we have several we'll process, but I mean, I don't envision it being too drastically much different than what it has been. Other than we have the site review now, as opposed to the board, having the ability to do that, so. I don't know if that answers your question or not, Seth.
Yeah, no, it does.
Okay. I don't see any real benefit to rushing that text amendment, just because I mean, no matter what, you're probably 60 or 90 days. If we said right now, we'd have to have a public hearing on that. So, I think it's probably just best that we go through the process here and kind of go through this thing and see what text amendments we want to make, and then we'll fold that one in at that time. And I'm assuming that would be your advice too, Seth, is that we just continue to move forward under the way it's written. I mean, the intent was to have us have the final say. That just is worded funny in there. So,
Right.
Trustee McKay, I mean, is that,
Yeah.
copacetic on the
It was
board end?
discussed at one time. I
Yeah.
think you brought it up to the board
Yes,
about that.
we did.
And we haven't voted on anything, but it was the
Right.
board's intention that process be established.
Okay. All right. All right. So looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then who knows what on the redeveloping. So the reason I'm having Cody bring this up is, we don't have an October meeting scheduled currently. If you look on the agenda, we're going to go ahead and schedule a regular meeting, for October. I was thinking, two things there. I talked to Cody and I knew that we had quite a few, special land use apps that were out. That will also give somebody a chance to get in on a regular time frame, so we don't have to have a special meeting. And then also, we've got a lot of zoning stuff to do. My hope is that we can get through all that in the, October and November meetings. And then, start off the new year with our public hearing for the text amendments and whatnot. Not that we can't either speed that up, slow that down, or have a special meeting, but I mean, at this point, if we add the October meeting, we'll be meeting, every month for the rest of the year, except for December, and we typically have never met in December.
So I was taking a break. in December.
Yeah, if we have to do that, we will. But I mean, I don't think there's going to be any huge rush on the text amendments. I think with any question that we have regarding the special land uses, especially with the marijuana, I think if we get a legal opinion from the attorney's office, on how to, interpret, the buffer zone in particular, you guys remember that was an issue. I think that can be sorted out without us having to, we will make the correction within the text amendments, I'm assuming, but that's probably gonna happen before, their public hearing will happen before that.
Okay.
That is how I think we'll probably choose to handle that, at that time. Anything else, Cody? Sorry, I kind of
Oh, you're good.
jumped in there. Okay, so yeah, I just kind of wanted to let everyone know where we were at on that. We will, try to do things, that way, and Cody's well aware of, when their posting times are and everything else, with meeting every 30 days, basically. What I think we talked about is like 10 days after our meeting date, they've got to be ready to go so that they can get posted, in enough time. And him and I are back and forth and, taking a look at the documents to make sure that they have everything they need before we're going to post, which is going to be something that we're going to be a little bit harder on moving forward, so that we have all that we need to make a decision one way or another when we get these in front of us for a public hearing. Seth, I did have a question, as far as, the Paisley application goes. So we tabled that, so that died at the last meeting. And we documented that in the meeting minutes. Will they need to submit another application?
So was it rejected or what happened?
We just tabled it.
You just tabled it?
Yeah.
So it was never denied?
Correct. It was not denied. So we chose to table it so that they, could get the correct documents to us and not have to wait. I think we're pretty close.
One of them.
Yeah, we're pretty close. It sounds like.
Are you satisfied with where it's at? I don't think you need to charge them to have it.
Okay, so that's what I was, so we can just go ahead and we'll just repost. Okay,
It's gonna have to be noted again. For public.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is
Okay.
that gonna be for the 10/28 meeting, you think, or?
I would assume I'm gonna, take a look at what they have with Cody after the meeting, and as long as they have met all the requirements and given us all the documents that we request, both in the zoning ordinance and what we've asked them to provide, then I would think so.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Cody?
Nope.
All right. Next item on the report is our liaison report from trustee McKay.
Well, as you all are aware, we're missing a supervisor right now. Terry had to resign. Her new job was taking too much of her time. And we are holding interviews on Thursday, October 2nd. And in fact, the month of October is going to be pretty heavy on the board schedule, as we have budget hearings and in our normal meeting as well. So just be aware that we're probably going to flood the calendar ourselves. And I don't see anything in the late October timeframe, but I see budget hearings and budget meetings early to mid-October.
Okay.
And other than that, that's all I have to talk about.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is going to be public comment time. This is on agenda items only. We'll open that up at 6:14. Seeing no one here for public comment, we'll close that at 6:15. Okay, next item is going to be our new business. First order there is going to be reviewing the zoning ordinance article 4, sections 4.08 and 4.15, sections 4.49 to 4.55, and then articles 5, 6, 8, and 9. Those are trustee McKay and Commissioner Brown's articles as far as that goes. I went ahead and combined all of the questions. If you're in your packet, the thing that is stapled together, I think it's 4 pages just after your meeting minutes, are all of the questions that were submitted regarding those 2 sections. And yes, it certainly looks like there's a lot of them, but most of these appear to be just very clerical and are going to require a quick discussion to make sure that we're all I guess, reading that sentence in most cases, that way. I will also say that, so I have been in touch with McKenna a few different times about, kind of where we're at in the process. And the general kind of consensus is, as far as, what we may or may not do there with them. And Seth had talked about this at the last meeting. I think we are going to go ahead and we're going to go through all these and put all of our changes together on one thing. And then, whether it's the attorney's office or probably the attorney's office in conjunction with McKenna to get things reformatted, we'll just have one meeting where we go over all the changes after we've been through all the questions. That's going to keep the cost down of not having to have a planner here the entire time. And then that'll also kind of speed things up, I think, because we're going to bring the solution to them rather than, like we did with the zoning ordinance, where it was like, what do you think, proposed language and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at. I've asked Seth to be here with us so that if we do have any general questions about legal stuff, especially when we get into like the marijuana, solar, the renewables and stuff, he's able to just kind of cross those right off the list for us while he's here. Okay. Any questions so far on kind of where we're at, what we're doing from anybody? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go right down the list here. If we're going too fast or we require more discussion, please just interrupt and say so. So if you want to open up your zoning ordinance book, and we can just go right down through them, I'll have mine open. But we're going to go ahead and start with section 4.08. The question is, should this include a tanning salon? And if you look there, the definition is for barber shop and beauty shop. Talks about, a spa, nail, hair, makeup, variety of health and beauty services, so on and so forth. So this is, a good one to start with, because this will be a great example of what a lot of these are. So we have a definition in there. It doesn't specifically say tanning salon, but it, health and beauty. This would be a situation where the zoning administrator would be taking a look at this and he could make that determination right there. Now, that is not to say that if we decide as a commission we want to add the word, the words tanning salon in there, we can't do that. But this is kind of one of those, it's a great question, and it's, and I've kind of shown how that would be handled on the administrative level. So it's up to us if we want to make that change. I will say that if we, do a lot of those types of changes, our text amendment list that we're going to post is going to take up a whole page in the chapter.
Right.
But it is entirely our decision. So that's kind of an example of something that we're looking at. So, does anybody have any thought on, is that important enough to put in there and change? Or are we comfortable in this situation, that question being posed there, tanning salon, okay? Are we comfortable with our zoning administrator making that call, or do we want something like that specifically listed in there?
So, and I think Cody could make that call very well, but what if Cody wasn't here and it was someone else?
Well, your zoning administrator, no matter who that is going to be the person that makes that determination.
Right.
We love Cody, obviously.
Yes, we do.
So we want him to stay around for a long time.
We do.
But anyone that is theoretically in that office, hopefully is going to have either some experience or be able to, and they always have the same access to the attorney that we do.
Okay.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, Cody, but there's been times when Cody has called and asked me, how would you read this? And I'm sure he's done the same thing with our attorney. So they have help if they're unable to make that decision. So,
Mike, okay,
yeah.
of course, it could fall under the health and beauty stuff, but
Mhm.
because we're talking about tanning and we're talking about additional electricity to that building, that structure would have to meet a certain amount of amps and stuff, I would believe. And of course, fire would be something to consider too, because if those things got too hot or there wasn't the proper electrical input into the building, I think it could cause a fire. Whereas with health and beauty and, that kind of stuff, there's no danger, no real danger to something, but tanning is talking about heat.
Well, I don't believe this is a special land use, is it, Cody? Okay,
As far as I know, it's not.
yeah, so to answer your question that I think you're asking, Barb, that is more of a building inspector situation, like we wouldn't necessarily have, and because this is not a special land use,
Okay,
there's no additional standards, as far as that goes.
Okay.
So from my perspective, this is something that I would think that it falls under the health and beauty that's already in there.
mhm.
And I think that we have a zoning administrator that's qualified enough to make that determination.
If we get so rigid, what about nails? That's not listed on here.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, here,
Nails
makeup.
in there.
Oh, nails, sorry.
Mhm.
Didn't see that. Okay. But there's all different things that you can get into the
Correct.
beauty.
Leave
Yeah.
the nails alone, Kat.
I have a question on this one, and
Yeah.
under the 4-point section.
Mhm.
It looks like they're supposed to be in alphabetical order. This one doesn't fall in alphabetical order
Yes,
unless we switch and have it say beauty shop and barber shop or barber shop. Then it will fall into alphabetical order.
got it.
Under standards, it says, see the article titled Procedures and Processes for Special Land Use Requirements. Should we not have the article number there to refer them to? Because that's how it is on some of the others. It'll say see article or
I
whatever.
think that
Yeah, go ahead, Cody.
sentence on the standard could get deleted, because like you said, it is, I just double checked, it's not a special land use.
Okay,
It's a permitted use in 2 different zones.
So you take the out
Okay.
completely.
all right, and what I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. And what you're saying is that you've noticed that in several other places. or-
That sentence is in here a lot, yeah.
Okay, and
Mhm.
so I would venture to say that probably is in there a lot where where it's a permitted use, okay? And it's in there a lot for the uniformity or whatever, so you're gonna have, so anything that's a special land use under B standards is gonna have additional standards.
Mhm.
And I think to make that uniform to, direct you in the right way, if it's a permitted use, they just had they wanted to keep standards in there. And then if there aren't any listed, then you just automatically see the special land use requirements. So I can see why that is confusing, because that is a permitted use. So what I'm going to do here is I will make a note of that. And then at some point, as we're going through this, Cody and I will kind of take a look. So is it the commission's position that in a situation where it's a permitted use and they have it down there as standards, and then see article title, procedures and processes for special land use, we want to just take that out altogether?
Yes.
But it says you have another one here
Not a
too.
special,
Yeah,
yeah.
if it's not a special.
If it's not a special
Yeah.
land use?
Yeah.
Okay.
But on the standards part,
Mhm.
when you go back to, because I had the parking chart.
Okay,
The
yep.
off-street parking.
Yep.
And on that chart, on 7.01, it says for barber shop and beauty shop, there should be one parking space for every 300 square feet. So should that not be listed as one of the standards then? Or not? Because the other standards, I mean, but some of the other ones, except for these ones that say special use, parking is addressed under the standards.
I see your point. So to me, in my head, Cody, and this is a good one to get us started off on, because this is kind of going to be what we're going to see a lot of. So coming to a consensus of how we want to do it will save us 20 minutes on the next one. Cody, in my thinking here, when you get an applicant that comes in and says, we're gonna build a barber shop. Okay. You're gonna give them the parking, so that's gonna be part of the building and zoning responsibility as the permitting process for that. They're gonna get handed individually the parking standards for that. Correct? Is that not normally
I
how
go
you
over
would
it
handle
with them
that? You
usually,
go
yeah.
over it. Okay.
I mean, I'll glance at it, and then if it doesn't meet it, I'll let them know, like, hey, the requirement of this is this.
So the thinking there, I think, is why it's not listed in there individually already, is that we have an entire section for parking that has the chart that says what you need for every single one of these.
Right.
So it would be, kind of almost redundant to have it in here as a standard, because it's not a special land use. We can certainly look at, changing that sentence, leaving the standards in there and then changing that sentence, as in, not see article, title, processes and procedures for special land use, but, see also, our parking ordinance, section.
But then you'd
7
have
or
to add
whatever.
the sign ordinance, right? 'Cause we're
Yeah.
not gonna have signs,
That's true.
so we're just gonna,
That's
He-
usually,
So, oh, I'm sorry.
that's usually how I go about it, like, when a business does come in or starts questioning. I check to see if it's special land use or not permitted, okay, it's good to go ahead, they need to meet this. And then they usually start asking me about signs after everything else has been agreed upon. I've only had the one question about the signs, like, well, that seemed kind of bogus. That was brought up when we started talking about this, on how short the standalone signs. But we do allow a lot of different signs. So I go through that, the parking signs with, if they're proposing a sign, not every business is even proposing a sign.
Why don't we do this? So this exact situation exists several more places, it sounds like, or quite often.
Or the chart doesn't match
What's in there? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me, I'm gonna go ahead and make note of that, and then I will reach out to our partners at McKenna, and we'll just kind of see generally how that should be listed in there. And then we'll bring that back to the commission and kind of mull that over. I'm just really hesitant to, do that. I don't, let's just pick a number. If it's 15 times, that's 15 text amendments that we're gonna have to list. And I don't.
wow.
And it's already listed in there in two different sections. And Cody is very well versed at, what to do when he has that situation. But let me reach out to them and just see what their thoughts are. Is that kosher with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you. But I don't know the best way to handle that. Steph, do you have any?
I was thinking about something else I wanted to ask you. Can you repeat that?
Okay, no, go ask your question.
Okay. In your zoning ordinance, do we see a lot of or similar uses appear? For like think about that one we just did, like the tanning, like this and similar uses. Does that come up a lot?
It does not.
Okay. Good. Because that probably isn't lawful.
Okay.
But look, we're not gonna
Get into
exact things. I'm just
no. Yeah, no.
It's not a continuing issue.
Correct. I do not think so. If it was,
We'll figure it out.
You're okay. All right. Okay. All right. Any other kind of, so as far as adding the tanning salon, I would think that we would not necessarily be in a rush to do that. Does anybody feel strongly the other way? Okay. And again, we can discuss this again later if we have to. Next one, 4.09. The question is why 7 bedrooms, and then also does bed and breakfast have to serve breakfast?
I can address this one real quick for you.
Yes, please.
State construction code, 10 bedrooms or less.
Okay.
7's okay, and it has to provide a meal at no additional charge.
Okay,
Right in state construction, code, look at the statute.
meal.
now.
Yep.
So it could be dinner.
Let me
But
see what
dinner
it
doesn't
says
have
here.
the same.
Serves meals at no extra cost. So I guess it could be,
Mhm.
it could be dinner.
It's called the bed and breakfast.
all right, so to answer that question, the state construction code says, yes, they have to.
That makes sense.
And then that's why this, you said it was 10 or less?
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay, and that's why we did the number 7 came about just via discussion. And we did discuss that when we redid the ordinance or whatever, but, that is just the number that we kind of chose, I guess.
Yeah, they're trying to make, like, delineate between, not to be treated as a hotel or motel. That's, they're trying to make that cutoff between the two.
So then do we need to change B2 because it says 7 bedrooms? Anything more than 7 bedrooms shall be considered a hotel under this ordinance? Or is that just, we're just saying 7?
It sounds like you're limited, that's the max number for a bed and breakfast is 7 bedrooms.
Yes.
So 7 or less. So your definition of motel or hotel is probably in your zoning ordinance, and
It is, and
whatever
it,
that says would define what that.
and that's where the second 7 comes from.
Yeah.
And we did discuss that at pretty great length of
Okay.
where we, as a township, you know, the state code was 10, as Seth said, and then we decided that, well, we didn't want 10, so we picked 7.
Okay.
Is where those came from. Is everybody kosher with that, or?
I got another question.
Yes, ma'am.
He's not gonna like me.
No.
On 4.09, it says adequate, under 6, it says adequate off-street parking shall be provided
Mhm.
for bed and breakfast patrons. But back on the chart, on 7.01, it says wait a minute, it says 1 per bedroom.
Okay, so that's 1 spot per bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, so as I read that, you know, basically there's a standard for a bed and breakfast, which is a special land use. So the standard is parking. Adequate off-street parking shall be provided for bed and breakfast in accordance with this ordinance. So they would flip over to that chart, and then Cody would say adequate, our definition of adequate parking is
Okay.
one space per bedroom.
So the chart does not have to match.
Allow for a waiver.
And yes, so also, thank you for reminding me of that, Seth. We also do allow for the parking waiver in the parking
Okay.
from the planning commission. So if they needed it because either space constraint or, you know, whatever the case is, you know, we could take that under advisement at the time of the public hearing for that applicant.
We've used that waiver quite a few times with parking. I mean,
Yeah.
usually we've done it because if you're doing it off square footage, their massive barn or make them require, you know. 30.
So for instance, just to kind of just walk you through that kind of quickly, what that would look like, you know, so a lot of these bigger warehouses, you know, we have a square footage requirement. They'd have to have 500 parking spots for 15 employees. So that's what we use the waiver there. You know, is at our discretion if we use the waiver or not. So I would think that, you know, the commission would be like, well, you know, we want 1 parking spot per bedroom. So that's just, you know, how it is, unless a compelling case can be made, as far as that goes. Okay, any other kind of questions on that? Next one is 4.10. Does section A indicate 5 dogs or 5 cats or a combined 5 cats and dogs? So, just to read that real quick here, says any lot, or premises where 5 or more dogs or cats over 6 months of age, board or breed and or trained for comparison. Or compensation, sorry. We're not read here.
I read it as combined.
Yeah, I would read that as if I was being asked to make a judgment on that, I would say that is combined. So I'm assuming this question exists because if you're gonna have combined, 5 is not a very big number.
Right.
But then go down to C.
Combined cats and combined dogs.
No, for a total, so we're talking about 5 dogs and 5 cats to make 10? Or we're talking
Yeah,
about
right.
5 combined?
That's what I was asking, yeah.
Yeah.
well, it is a
But
little.
they're usually bored both.
So Kevin did point out to me that if you go down 2 letters to C, maximum number of animals is no,
More than 30.
30.
Oh, well, that's kind of weird.
Mhm.
And this is also covered by our animal control ordinance, which no person shall allow or permit to remain on same or adjacent premises controlled by him or her within the township more than 4 dogs or 5 cats,
Mhm.
unless a commercial kennel or, one of those special land uses
Okay.
comes through, which would be, but I think that clears up this question.
The first one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So what are we doing with it? That's my question.
So so to piggyback off what Cody just said, so we've got an animal ordinance. So we're basically saying that if you have a combination there, then we consider you basically a boarding kennel because you're doing it for compensation. I don't think we need to do anything there, do you, Cody? Based on what you said there, but that is. So that's another good example of, do we want to make a change or not? I mean, to me, that is something that the zoning administrator also can make a determination on. And then if you apply the next letter down, and then what our animal ordinance is, between those 3 things, you can get an answer fairly quickly.
Mhm.
Okay, next is going to be 411B2. And the question is, there are no license requirements indicated for this section on microbreweries. That is, trying to go up here.
Under brew pubs, under A,
Okay,
it refers to Michigan state law on the license.
okay,
But under number 2, talking about microbreweries, it doesn't refer to that,
okay,
even though we know they have to have a license.
right. So Seth, I've noticed this kind of 2 or 3 different places where we're talking about, the same industry, but a different application, if you will. Brew pub versus microbrewery. And, we'll have, referred to state licensing on one, but not on the other. Do we need to be specific there? I mean, they have to get a license to be a microbrewery, so I don't.
Yeah.
Would you recommend, so we were specific on the one and not on the other. Do you think it is necessary to be specific?
Yeah, there's no harm in that. And then
Okay.
secondly, do you have a liquor license ordinance or any provisions on there? Because they usually need to get our local approval and you go through a checklist of things.
So that would be police powers, correct? And would that be?
It could be either from what I'm seeing.
Okay. So that would be a new can of worms.
Pretty nuts.
I don't think maybe that's something we need to worry about right now.
Okay.
Let me.
I think it's anything like we could make it kind of match the marijuana where under, adult use and medical use, we have the set of standards that applies to all.
Breweries,
as far as like the.
breweries, distilleries.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as like their insurance and things like that. How it applies to all marijuana, whether it's grow off a processor or dispensary. We could move A above 1. So that it applies to everything below.
Okay. So basically what Cody is recommending, and that's a good idea. So if you were to go and look at the marijuana, we have, you have medical and then you have recreational. We have one set of, at the very top of that, says, so for medical and
Right.
recreational, the following standards apply. So basically, what he is saying is that we would slide that up to the top, and then that, would apply to all, distillery, microbrewery, brew pub.
So A would be above one and below standards.
Yep.
Right in there.
Does that clarify that, question that was there in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, way up above and 411B standards, the last sentence refers to all applicable state and federal regulations.
Okay,
But it was the consistency that was. the issue.
that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we list it under the brew pubs, but
Yeah.
nothing under the other two. Okay,
Well, just number 2 didn't have it.
Right.
Number 3 had it.
oh, did three? I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, it does. It's over on the other page there. Okay.
But we're still moving that, right?
We are, yes, either we will move it or we will, because it does say that you gotta, apply with, follow the state and federal regulations. The easier thing to do will probably be just to insert that sentence into that microbrewery standard because it's already in distilleries. But yes, for consistency, we will make that change there. I think that probably is easier to add that sentence rather than take out in other two places and then add something to the top.
Right.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're gonna be adding the other two words, right?
Correct.
Brew
Yeah.
pub, microbreweries and
Mhm.
distilleries, okay.
Yeah. And again, what we'll do is once we've, so that's the first, I guess, change that we're thinking about making. So we'll go ahead and we'll get all these into a list format, just like this, that you're looking at, and then we'll go back through these one more time and say, okay, this is what we want to do. And then at that point, the attorneys will know what to notice in the notice for the text amendment. And that'll also give us a chance to turn that over to the planners and just, get them to take a look at it. And then, they may have a different view as well, of what is either maybe necessary or not necessary as well. 4.12, there weren't any, 4.
Can I ask a question on 4.12 though?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
And I'm just curious as to why there's such a big difference in the consecutive days of a stay. From June to September 15th, it's 90 consecutive days, but from September 16th to May 31st, it's no more than 14. Is there a reasoning behind that?
Yes, so when we went through and did that on advice of the planners, that was about considering occupancy and basically someone being able to say that I live, that this is my home, at the campground.
Mhm.
And that had to do with, if I remember correctly, some state regulation as far as like residency or whatever.
Right.
But that specifically came from the planners themselves. As far as making it that way. Kevin, I know that that was kind of
I was just curious, what about seasonal?
right.
If you look at most of the campgrounds, 75% of the campground is now seasonal. Because they can't make money on night to night as much as seasonal.
Sure.
I just thought that was strange that for one period of time, it's 90 consecutive days, and then for the other time, it's 14 consecutive days.
Mm-hmm.
I can absolutely add that to the list of things to send over to them just to get a clarification on. And if I remember correctly, there was an MCL even, or I thought that we can get to help clear that up as well.
No, I'm obviously not saying that they can't get some type of a understanding that they want to do seasonal. They would have to come up before this board again and explain why and all that stuff, but.
Right.
I do have one for the campgrounds as well, Mike.
Yep.
The campgrounds are licensed by the state. So in just the spirit of keeping things, since the alcohol related businesses, we, mentioned they need to have all applicable state licenses. I don't know if we should have something like that here as well.
Okay. I will add that to my growing list here. 4.13, any regulations for crematorium or their smoke stack?
Do we even have a crematorium?
We do not.
I don't think so.
You always have to take you somewhere else.
Yeah, I think over into Emmett,
Right down on Dickman.
Richie or something.
So I would assume that this is, again, something that is regulated by the state.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
I think we could probably strike crematoriums. I feel like that fits more with funeral home operations, not
Mm.
cemetery operations.
I do too.
Right.
Okay,
Cemeteries
Except
are
that-
typically gonna be non-zoning police power ordinances, cause
Yep.
it's gonna be a township.
right,
Operated, maintained.
okay,
And it's my understanding that funeral homes, though, cannot have a crematorium. State law does not allow it, is what I was
Yeah,
told.
I'm not sure.
That state law does not allow it. It has to be done either at a cemetery, like was at Elk Hill, and then, or like Brewski's, Brewski's, however you say it.
Yeah. Mhm.
But that funeral home,
They don't do that?
that's what I was told when I asked a question about something else, and I was told that state law does not allow funeral homes to have crematoriums.
Okay.
I'll look into that.
Can't think of the name of the place.
I'm curious.
yeah, we'll look into that and see,
Somebody better tell Baxter then.
She wasn't cremate on site.
No, no,
You
no.
know?
No, they sent it over to Rooch.
They all have to go over there to.
Okay.
Because Elk Hill's even shut
The reason
down.
I'm saying it's because they advertise.
Well, all
Mhm.
they offer,
Because
Okay.
they'll arrange it.
yeah, they'll arrange to transport the body there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They offer.
Yeah.
all right,
It
we
should
will,
be
we will
out
get
of
some
here.
clarification on that and then, come back to that and either we'll strike that or see what the deal is with the funeral home and one way or another, we'll figure
Okay.
that one out.
What is it called? The place where they live?
So we'll definitely gonna have to come back to that one.
Bruce?
Yeah, it's on, what, 6.5, 6
Okay.
acres?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Where they used to do the paper recycling and
Okay.
stuff.
Mhm.
All right, 4.14, should refer to standards and state, should refer to standards and licensing. So 4.14. All right, so I'm noticing a pattern here. There's a lot of stuff where we could list, refer to, state standards and licensing or whatever. I think the easiest thing to do right now would be just kind of to get the commission's opinion on whether or not we want to go back through and do that. Is it important to you guys that in this situation, it says refer to, state standards or, state standards and state licensing or however you want to word that?
I guess the question would be, does it put Cody in a bind? If, like this one doesn't.
Correct. I don't think it does. I mean, if there are standards that they have to apply for on the state level,
Yes.
there's nothing Cody's gonna do, or our zoning administrator is gonna do, or the board or the PC. Like it is that's just how it is. So any site plan, that we would review under special land use, they have to, and I'm positive that at least two places in here, it refers to having to, abide by the standards and, the zoning ordinance, your state and other local
It's
ordinances
very
as well.
regulated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So your parking and fencing is gonna fall under something else.
right. Yep.
Okay.
So I would think that, we would not want to get into the weeds here and add that to every single one. But that is my opinion. I am certainly willing to listen to everyone
No, I
else's
get it.
as well.
I get it.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Tony, do you, You seem to be noticing this quite a bit, so.
This goes back to the job I retired
Sure.
from, and trying to get the federal government audible in their policies and procedures and stuff, and everything had to match. We had to go through, and the Department of Defense still has not passed their audit. So, I mean, everything had to match. When you, like on that chart, if it didn't match what was back here, that was an automatic fail. So that's the
Okay.
mindset I have when I look at stuff like that.
Okay,
So.
all right. Is it very important to you that we reference the licensing in there, or is that something that, you're maybe okay, not holding on to those convictions
I won't hold on.
so
to
tight?
it.
Okay. All right.
I'm not gonna have somebody that.
Is everybody else okay with that? I mean, if it's something, if the group wants to go down that road, that's fine, but I mean, I bet there's 50 or 60 examples of that.
Yeah. Don't need to do that.
Yeah. To me, that's why we have a zoning administrator. They make those calls and determinations, and then, get you going the right direction. Okay. And then if you go over to 1601, so that's at the very, yeah.
Can I bring up something here?
Yeah, sure.
4.17D, subsection D, page 28.
Yep.
It's got a phrasing that's strange. Occupancy, under D, accessory dwelling unit. They're putting in there, it says and I believe it's probably so they don't rent it out. But it says nor the ADU be non-owner occupied.
What is,
Well, I'm assuming that'd be like a mother-in-law house type thing. Just so they don't rent it out too, as a rental unit.
Just a quick comment about just general with what ordinance interpretation is.
Yep.
It's not gonna catch everything, right?
Nope.
It's not going to.
Right.
But, if the zoning administrator makes an like, if someone asks him to, hey, what does this mean? Any zoning decision is, people do have the right to appeal to the ZBA. Also, you can, if no one's sure, you can still ask the ZBA to make an interpretation. So there is a, release, like a mechanism there for, relief. I'm not suggesting everything goes to the ZBA. It's not often that happens, but that's the remedy sometimes.
And I can expand on this a little bit, because I remember specifically talking about this with a Ken when we were doing this. One of them can be rented.
Yep.
But it has that in there where one of them has to be owner occupied, whether you
For the
you want to
main
downsize,
house or the other.
Yep, and you rent the main house and you live in the accessory dwelling, one of them has to have that PRE on it, basically, so someone's not just living in Florida renting both out.
Yeah, so when you read that, it says, it's one or the other. And then at no time shall the principal dwelling or the ADU be non-owner occupied. Because that was very important that we have the owner occupy that.
Right.
Yep.
So I would think that sentence is.
Correct, it just looks weird
Yes.
to me,
Sure, no, I
gotta slow down a little bit when you read it.
Right.
Okay.
And I think what Seth was trying to say there, guys, is that we don't have to interpret the entire zoning ordinance, because we're all going to read it differently. Cody will read it differently. And if there is a question as far as who, a resident, there is a relief mechanism for them to, I think he was politely saying that we don't have to be perfect there.
Figure out if you try to,
Right, absolutely. I don't have that much left, man. It's not gonna work.
I will expand on dwelling units real quick, Mike, though, is that
Yes.
we don't have the minimum square footage in here for a main dwelling, we do for the accessory dwelling, but not.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
And I think when we last talked about it, we were saying like, what, 750?
Okay, so that is a great example of one of the ones that was on the first list that Cody had. I'm sure it's on the one in the very back of that. And that is a great example of what we are trying to do is we found something that needs to be in there. What page is that on, Cody?
Page 26.
Okay, thank you.
4.17, the very top single family. And I guess multiple family. as long as I have a minimum square footage.
All right, so I know from reading our old ordinance, it is 800 is the minimum for a primary. We're at 600 for an ADU. My thinking on that would be that we would always want the principal dwelling to be bigger than an ADU.
Mhm.
I don't think we need to have some exorbitant, minimum footage for, a primary residence, but I do think it should be bigger than the 600 for the ADU.
Right. Mhm.
Whether we want to get some information from other locales or, and compare them, or if we feel comfortable enough, just kind of, making a decision right now as, that's a text amendment that needs to happen. So, my thoughts are, it's been 800 for as long as I can remember.
So let's go with 800.
So I would think 800 would be,
Mhm.
I don't know what construction costs are right now. I'm sure it's over, right, they're horrible. But I'm sure that it's, $100 a square at least.
At least.
At least, okay, so if you're, if we have a 200 square foot difference times, 100, you could be talking about $100,000 difference in price. So I don't think we need to make the number so big that we're, pricing people out or whatever, but I do think it should be bigger than the ADU, as far as that goes. So I'm okay with 800. That's what it's always been. Cody, do you have?
There are some mobile homes, they're older ones, but
Mhm.
still close to 1986 that I've seen that are around like 750, 775.
Okay,
We do define mobile homes differently in here,
okay.
but if we just wanted to go, kind of like a blanket minimum square footage for a main dwelling, we could maybe go a little bit lower than 800.
750.
We don't see a lot of those manufactured homes from that long ago. Newer ones tend to be quite a bit bigger, but we do allow that because 86 was one day.
Well, that's two different issues though, Seth. If they're already built, that's a non-conforming issue. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a non-conformity. So, I mean, I would think that if you were gonna build a new one, we'd want it to be 800 square feet. Are you saying that may be a problem with what they build nowadays,
So-
or?
No.
Okay.
The older ones, but some people, especially with prices of things right now, are buying older ones, used ones, and bringing them in.
Bringing them in?
We allow.
Okay,
So I just don't know if it would hold to the same standards. Once again, manufactured homes are under, they have, manufactured housing has its own section.
And are we gonna have to get into what they call tiny homes?
Not the accessory dwellings.
yeah, so we tackle that with the ADU, that's the same thing. I think it should be 800. I mean, if they're buying it, I mean, they would have the review of the ZBA, correct?
Right.
I
If
mean-
something like that happened, they could always go and ask the ZBA.
Yeah.
You can't just say a blanket over 600 square feet. No,
I mean, we could do that, but I feel very strongly that we need to have a difference between the ADU and a primary dwelling.
Otherwise, the ADU could be bigger than your primary dwelling.
Correct.
That would not be
And
good.
that to me is backwards.
Yes. Yes.
but I thought they had to be under 600.
No, ADUs have to be minimum.
The minimum, yeah.
Oh, a minimum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't have that word.
Do you have a maximum on that?
Yeah,
No,
See how big-
wow.
Just not
Well,
bigger than
maybe
the
that's
primary.
where,
yeah.
We don't
That's a
define that
problem.
either. Saying an accessory can't be bigger than the primary, because like. Yeah, that needs to be.
Okay,
yeah.
because we don't have that.
Because, I mean, the whole purpose of an accessory is, it's accessory to principal
Yeah.
use, so you don't want it bigger. At least for like a dwelling, like a pole barn might be different, but like at least for a
Well,
dwelling.
there's moving on that though, like when someone comes, they're living in this house currently, they want to build on their land. And they'll eventually move into that one. Can I allow the bigger building to be built that they will be moving into? Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right, so
That'd be my only concern.
the principal dwelling has to be a minimum of 800 square feet. We're keeping that, correct?
I think, so Cody's pointed out two things here. We don't have a maximum for the ADU and we don't have a minimum for a principal residence.
Right.
Okay. I think that those two need to be different numbers.
Yeah,
Agreed.
That is my opinion.
yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Okay, so I think to make things simple, I really feel like most of the mobile homes now are gonna be able to be the 800 square. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
sure, they could absolutely buy one that is used from, you know, the 80s or whatever, but I mean, that's just gotta be getting to be.
That might not even go down the road.
Right, yeah. So I would think that we should not make, you know, the rule for the exception, if you will. So I think it should be 800 on the, you know, principal, and then we would need to change that to a maximum of 600 on the ADU.
Should we do, no, can we can go smaller? We're trying to avoid that, but we could do like a percentage.
Okay.
Accessory dwellings can not be, must be 25% smaller than the main dwelling, or, you know, something along that line.
Oh, I like that.
Okay,
That way, you know, if they have a 1,500 square foot house, they can be a 12, you know, they can make 1,000 square foot ADU.
okay.
Mhm.
Seth, does that jive with what your concern was that we didn't have that listed there?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay,
And also too, like, I know you're saying you're 800 square feet, minimum square floor area. I'm looking at your section in your zoning ordinance for variances, and it does give the standards are a little bit looser, which means there's several standards of review for granting a variance, and the ZBA shall consider the following factors, not the following factors shall be satisfied. They're two
Okay.
very different things.
okay.
So I think, like, you know, if there's a hardship of cost or something like that, you know.
That's something that they could consider on
the
their,
ZBA
on
could,
their,
yeah. So that's,
their level. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Claudia, do you kind of understand what he's saying there? I mean, that,
Yeah,
you know, like
Yeah.
the difference between, I guess, being on the ZBA, you know, it's not, standards have to be satisfied when you're in front of us.
right. We have
You're
to,
considering,
yeah,
we have to look at the hardship. We have to make sure there's.
Right,
hardship
exactly.
there, Make sure that there's, you know, we
I mean,
have a reason to grant that.
yeah, it's typically like with that type of language, you're looking at practical difficulty and is it equitable, like what we doing here? You know, that's a lot different than it shall consider the following, because almost every request for variance has some level of self-created hardship in it. You can't pass it, it's denied, you know?
Right,
so.
right. But if the septic system's in the wrong place or something like that, that's different. That's a true hardship.
Yeah, or like the one we had where the lot's 100 foot wide. Like you can't build a house within setbacks.
Right.
Right.
Yes. All right, so minimum principal dwelling is not.
it's gonna be 800, and then we're gonna change the language on the 600-foot ADU to a percentage.
25%
You know, 20, to a maximum, so it would read,
Minimum 600.
the minimum is 600 square feet, not to be,
I know exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
Not to exceed.
or, you know, or can't, you know, not to exceed.
75%.
Okay,
There you go.
thank you, Gene. Get it out,
Have to
guys.
flip the percentage.
There we go, thank you.
Not
Like, what a problem.
75%
Yeah.
of principal
Yeah.
dwelling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
25 on the one,
Yep.
75 on the other.
there we go.
Okay,
20.
Two other things that I've seen is nothing but housekeeping.
sure.
Section 4.22, page 30. Would be section or subsection 5, Calhoun County, or the Road Commission of Calhoun County, it should be department. It's just simple housekeeping is all.
Okay, actually, I have a request. Can we wait until we do that section? Are we,
We're in 4 now.
Right, but are we doing those sections tonight is what I was
Oh,
asking.
No, there's not on there.
Okay,
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'll just keep it till later.
Okay. is that, I just want to make sure that we stay consistent with what we've got in front of us.
Mhm.
So that when we go to do the meeting minutes and then give our list to the planner and the attorneys, that we're not all over the place. Sorry, Kevin.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, where were we? 1601. So all the way in the back. That's gonna be in your definitions. It was 1601B. Word use in green, where do we define it? Exotic or wild? Where do we define exotic or wild animals? Provisioning center, and then provisioning center was not captured. All right, so there's 3 questions in that one. We do not have a definition or we define exotic or wild animals, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, we just have,
Looking for one.
yeah, so we just have basically animal, any member of the animal kingdom, you know, this, that, and the other. Is that something that the commission would like to define, or are we okay with just the regular?
We touched on that years ago,
Okay,
and, of course, there are people that have snakes. And that's a wild animal, but they are allowed to have them. I don't know how we define what is a wild animal anymore and what isn't. You know,
So,
Right here.
so
You can't read that most
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, it's under.
yeah,
oh,
So
it all
the-
came up
What
when
does it
some
say?
snakes
It
got
is defined
loose
there,
in
it's
the
just-
the
It is
trailer
defined
park.
in there, but it's
Trying to figure out
right
where we're
up
at.
here where you
Where
can
are we
read
at?
it.
1601?
Any
page
animal
185.
not
Okay.
Then
commonly in Michigan.
Including that one.
domesticated,
Big
raised,
and
or
then
slaughtered
things
Okay.
March 8th.
for use for.
Okay, so what Cody just pointed out, and you can't see it,
Covered, isn't
so it
it?
is, it's right up there at the top, it's number 4.
Oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
there.
So we do have, that is defined in there.
The
Um,
cash needs that to come.
And I,
Snake, large.
Yeah. I am certain that when you pull this up online, that's from the printing shop,
Okay.
Yeah.
so,
It's on its way on the PDF version too, honestly.
okay,
I'm
Alright.
only able to read it, so I think that you can at least highlight it on the computer.
okay.
You just need to
Yeah.
move it there.
Okay.
Mission Center. Yeah.
And then it looked like, the provisional center wasn't capitalized. Well, Claudia, if you get there before me, just confirm that and. Oh,
And I'm actually saying that a lot.
There's a lot of grammatical.
Building line is.
Okay, page 197.
thank you.
And provisioning was capitalized, but center is not.
And everything else is capitalized double.
Okay,
That's just a typo.
all right. Okay,
So we're gonna change the typo, correct?
yep,
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Center's not
Oh,
capitalized.
yeah, yeah.
all right. Moving on to section, yes, go ahead, sorry.
On page 188.
Yep.
Where it says, group child daycare home.
Yep,
The sentence that's missing out of there that is back in, section 4 is that for a group child daycare home, it doesn't include a statement that they cannot operate more than 16 hours a day. They can be open 24 hours a day, but they can't operate more than 16 hours a day, and that's part of the state law.
So I would think that you don't see it here because the definition is for what we consider that. And then you see that sentence in section 4 because that's part of the standard.
Okay.
Is why there's no carryover or in that.
Mhm.
Oh, and can I add something, or do you wanna wait till we come back through there?
No, that's,
On
please.
page 190.
Yeah.
If you go to enforcement official. Zoning
Yep.
administrators, right in the middle of the paragraph is sitting there twice back to back,
Mhm.
so you need to remove one.
I think it's twice.
Mhm.
Mhm. Most of the crimes done.
Is that Cody? You're doing a double job.
Too Cody.
And then on 191 and page 192, back to that same daycare thing.
Yep.
They're listed again. Only the word child is missing out of it. So those definitions, I mean, those are the same definitions that are on page 188
Okay.
for family daycare home and group daycare home, so they can be removed.
So I will put on the list that we're sending over to McKenna to see if there is a compelling reason to have, if there's specifically why they have those in there. Separate from the group one. And if there's no compelling reason, then we'll go ahead and we'll just take those out.
They put different numbers of children, 1 to 6, and then the other group daycare is 7 to 12.
No. But what I'm saying is those are the same definitions as what's on page 188, where they split out child daycare home and they have family child daycare home and group child daycare home. It's the
Yeah,
same.
so it's basically listed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a duplicate. They just grouped it together in one spot and.
I will put it on the list to ask them if there's a difference between, family daycare home, group daycare home, and then they have 188 is listed as child care center, non-home based.
Here, no,
Is that what you're referring to?
no, I'm going.
Okay, I see it right above there. Yeah,
Child daycare home.
Yep.
And I went out to the state site and there is no such thing as a group daycare home or a family daycare home. It has to have the word child in there.
okay.
It's a family, for the licensing for it. There's no license for a family daycare home.
Oh, that's interesting.
All right.
It's a family child daycare home.
We will see what the explanation is behind that, and then either we'll put the word child in there, or the most likely scenario would probably be to.
Just leave, because
Yeah.
it's just,
Child care center.
And you said there's no licensing for group daycare or family?
this definition that's here for 12,
Seven.
more than 6, but not more than 12 is a group child daycare home. It's not.
Yeah.
Okay,
What section is that? Because that 6 to 12, I believe that's something contained in the Zoning and Maple Act. So we just gotta make sure.
so that's section 16, page 188, and then the different definition is over 2 pages over, so that's going to be 190 and 191.
190, not 191 and 190.
191 and 192. Okay. We will get the clarification and then figure out what we need to do there. Well, you guys are just catching all kinds of stuff. I'm so happy. I am, really. Okay, so moving on down the list here, 5.02. 5.02D, Y 8 inches above grade.
Page 110.
So yes,
110.
page 110. Non-building structures. I believe that was pulled from the state construction code, was it not?
I can double.
That's what I suspect, yeah.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
So would you like us just to confirm that that is?
Yeah.
That is the regulation
Yeah.
and that we didn't
I suspected that.
pick that number arbitrarily,
Yeah,
if you will? Okay,
I'm like,
Construction code get weird around pools.
yes, I know that, yeah.
okay, so we will confirm that is in fact, but I'm pretty positive that's what we talked about, but we'll confirm that and see about that. Next is 5.04, operating an online business like consulting, selling a product or service. Is that home-based business as defined? So to me, that would be another example of kind of where we were in the beginning, where the zoning administrator would, I mean, I would think the answer would be yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have standards for what could be defined as a home-based business, and I would say that as long as you're not opening a storefront to sell something, but doing like online sales, and you kind of just go to the post office a couple times a week to ship stuff out, but it's absolutely home, that's my interpretation.
Yeah, a lot of
Is there
people do
any
it.
Scenario where you want a home occupation to be a special use.
No, I don't think so. I think you would,
Or I don't maybe not say, maybe that's not correct.
if there's
I
any
mean,
specific, is that, so you posing that question in like a broad form or
well,
referring to like a certain type of home-based business that we would want, that we would consider?
it's all about impact, right?
Yep.
Like on neighboring properties and surrounding property. So I'll email you something.
Okay.
Cody, okay, it was something,
Yep.
we did this for Township not too long ago.
Okay.
And then divided it out to different levels of impact, and if you think it's helpful, great, if not.
Okay, yeah, no, absolutely. So basically the question there is, do we want to say home-based businesses need to be some level of a special land use? I mean, certain ones, absolutely not. We don't want 10,000 requests.
No.
And we'd have to have standards and everything else. But, Seth's point is that, certain home-based businesses certainly can have an effect on the adjacent property owner.
Right.
Which is the exact reason that we do special land use, because it's not a permitted use, it's a special land use that will have an impact probably in a negative fashion, if you're the adjacent homeowner, as far as that goes. So, yeah, Seth, if you want to send that over.
I got it right here.
Okay, I am certainly, I mean, I don't know if, Gene, did you want to list those specifically
No,
in there?
I
or
was just,
is
I'm just
that-
trying to differentiate my mind. Somebody that has a storefront
Okay,
where people come to them versus somebody selling something online where they take it to the post office and ship it out.
right, yeah,
That really doesn't have an impact on the neighbors.
Right,
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 Online selling, whatever.
right.
yeah, Etsy.
I just try to
eBay,
differentiate that in my head.
And
Marketplace.
I don't know.
Marketplace, yeah.
Facebook Marketplace, yeah.
Meet me at Urbandale Plaza.
Like there are FFLs out there, that, yeah, they have a storefront, but they're not like open all day. It's kind of just when someone comes and picks up, you can look at a singular case. They don't have much traffic flow going to them on one or two, a day, if that. So I want to consider that really a storefront either, because it's not like an operating store
Right.
in the sense of like
Regular.
Big Market or
Yeah.
Meyer or something like that.
Cody and I will take a look at that in different degrees of, impact and kind of see what we think, and we'll probably include that in a packet so that you guys can take a look at it, and we'll circle back to that. But at this point, I think Cody can make the determination
Yeah.
as far as that goes. Yes,
So in that same, section, 5.04.
Yep.
Go down to the bottom, number 4.
Yep.
And home-based business is in there twice. It says.
Oh, yeah.
Operation of a
Right.
home-based business or home-based business.
yeah.
Like,
Right.
so can we remove one of those?
Much reading. I see.
Okay. I will also say, guys, that if you were to go back and look at our old zoning ordinance, there's all kinds of this stuff, like this is not uncommon.
No, I,
So don't,
Never was proofread
Don't.
or anything.
yeah, don't, and I mean, how many times did we read this and finally on the 15th time, somebody caught it? Anyway, next is section 6.02, 2, 3,
120?
page 120.
2, 3, and 7.
Just all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're not all consistent bolding.
Okay,
I don't know how you're gonna do number 2, but. And 3.
Okay.
And 7 should be bolded. That's probably why they weren't all bold.
all right. Does anybody, go ahead, Claudia, do you have?
Are we bolding number 7?
Yes,
Yes.
that one easily is bolded.
Okay.
And 2 and 3, if you just put a
Yeah.
2 or 3 word statement, that changes
Sure.
things. So I don't think you want to do that.
So we'll leave those alone, so we're just changing number 7.
I just changed number 7.
Okay,
The other ones, they're not set up. that
we're
way.
just gonna make it bold.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All right, we've been at it for 90 minutes. Does anybody need to take a break real quick or keep going?
I could use it quick.
Okay. I will move for a brief recess, 10-minute recess at 7:22. Do I have support?
Support board.
All right, thank you. I will move to reconvene the meeting at 7:36.
Move.
All right, thank you. Okay, next on the list here, we've got, if you're following along in the, questions that we've got here, is gonna be 4.54, which is gonna be the wind energy facility. And then if you flip over, to the next page, so you've got quite a few questions about the wind energy facility. And then 4.55, the wireless telecommunications. Okay, so that's the next 2 pages in your questionnaire, or that was in your packet of the questions that we have, that have been submitted. So one thing that we did notice, there's quite a bit of reference to Township Board or Planning Commission, okay? We know that is an issue that we're going to address in section 13. For consistency, we need to address that in all of the, and that's pretty much in most of the renewables. We changed most of it to Planning Commission rather than Township Board. But in talking with the attorney there, the wind energy and the wireless communications in particular, there's been some new changes, and then also there's some stuff in the Zoning Enabling Act that is going to answer some of these questions about what we can require and what we can't require.
Okay.
So if it's okay with everybody, and these are Claudia's sections, so I'll start with her. I think what we should do is we should refer these questions to the attorney
Okay.
office to review those 2 sections specifically. Just because it's more of a complex, it's not,
Yeah.
there are certain things on the state level that, that have changed that we can't have a say on, or that are very specific,
Okay.
as far, especially with the wind energy facility, is my understanding, Seth?
Yeah, for sure, because I don't think we've done much with wind recently, and you think about when we had, the initial preemption and the work that went into the solar, and I think we did battery storage here too, and
Yeah.
wind was never really reviewed. So based on what's in here, we have probably a lot to look at, actually.
Yes. So if everybody's all right, and Claudia, if you agree,
I agree.
we're gonna go ahead and forward all of these questions that we've got here. And Claudia did a great job of putting putting it actually in there, the page number, and then the question that she has there. Like for instance, that first one is regarding the, you know, the difference in height and, as far as the different scales of the wind energy. I am sure that state preemption has
Something to
something
say about
in
that.
there, you know, just like we did with small scale and large scale solar.
You know, the other thing in here too is it's like,
Yep.
Calhoun County Airport Authority, or when you get down here, it says Calhoun County Memorial Joint Airport Authority. And
Right.
they gotta be talking about the same thing.
I would assume that they are. But you know, so those kind of questions, Seth, will drill down on to help your firm out with what we were specifically talking about, like, you know, Township Board and Planning Commission stuff. We know that we wanted to read the Planning Commission. But some of those technical things, like the different scales, and you know, the terminology and the difference in numbers, I would assume that there's gonna be some state regulation
Yeah,
on
they
that.
are.
Okay,
And wind is very unlikely to come into your township here, but it's still something that you know, you want an updated modern ordinance on it. That way, if something does come,
or,
you know, it was workable, like how consumers came here instead of going directly to the state.
right.
So.
So is everybody kind of okay with that?
Mhm.
You know, if you flip over to the next page, the bottom three questions there are, you know, Township Board should be replaced with Planning Commission. So I think about 50% of those are just easy.
Yep.
You know, we just need to strike that for consistency purposes. And I, you know, I will send this entire list over, and then, any changes that the attorney's office always makes, they track the changes for us so that we can see them, and, you know, we can provide everyone with a copy of the track changes, and then that way we know what we're changing. Any questions on that?
Oh, no.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yep,
I mean,
yeah.
I'll go through it if you want to, but there's gonna be a lot of stuff that, the attorney's office is gonna have to verify.
It could be very confusing.
Right.
And we're
So
not
I would
gonna-
prefer them to just verify and then track any changes if there are any. And then say, okay, no, this has to be this way or not that way. And I would assume the same thing for the wireless telecommunications.
Yeah. Yep.
Although it looks to me like almost all of that is in reference to either the Planning Commission of the Township Board or in
Zoning.
reference to the zoning administrator.
Right.
So we will take a look at that, and if it's a interpretation, normally it should read zoning administrator. If it's something like a decision based for the special land use, that's gonna be Planning Commission. Is my first initial read on that.
Right.
Is everybody kind of okay with that?
Mhm.
I noticed in my section that there was this one little thing about solar panels on the homes, and I guess I didn't realize that they have to be within 2 feet from the edge.
Yeah.
That's
Do we
the
have-
building code.
Okay, do we have a lot of homes with those on here?
More and more,
More and more, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, just in the past 2 months, I've probably issued 8 permits for rooftop solar.
Really?
Yeah, you can tell a company was going door to door, 'cause they're all in the same neighborhood, but
I see. Yeah, and neighbors don't complain about them or anything.
not the rooftop one.
Yeah, my house is perfect for those, but I don't know what it costs. Cause my roof faces south. Sun all day. Okay,
Okay, moving on down, from the looks of this, the next thing we need to discuss is gonna be the landscape and screening article.
Right.
That's,
134.
section 802. Page 134. It says on here, potential damages to utilities, it's got a typo. Should be removed required by. It's in there twice back to back, so that's the third one that you've got that one.
Yeah.
Sounds
We're
like.
getting good at those.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Right, and that is there. C.
Yep, so 802C.
Yep, right there.
Okay. And then, moving on to Article 9, walls and fences. No changes or additions to the language. How about that, guys? And then, moving on to, looks like, the definitions, again, 1601. These are just some generalized,
We may have covered a couple of them.
yep, looks like we did on the daycare.
Okay. 1601.
So I'm just gonna run through these real quick, guys. Enforcement official, zoning administrator is listed back to back, so that's another typo.
Yep.
Looks like grower, class A, B, and C. Add the wording per license, so that's page 192. So let's just take a look at that real quick. See what we got going here.
Authorized to grow not more than 500 marijuana plants. And I guess I was thinking, is that per license?
Yes, it's
Okay,
CRA thing.
okay, and it doesn't say that, so maybe we don't have to add it. Just a question.
Seth, what would be your just off the cuff thoughts there?
So it's for grower, you say, what was it, class A 500?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the question would be, at the end of all of those, do we want it to say per license? But that's regulated by the CRA.
Yeah, let me look at your, I mean, you could, but let me look what's in your,
The marijuana ordinance
yeah,
itself?
because
Okay.
it's referencing, it's probably okay how it is, because it's referencing class A, class B, and class C, and then within your marijuana specific, standards.
Right.
It probably says that.
Okay,
Right, then we'll just take that off if it's
okay.
just a question.
And also too, so I'm assuming the CRA says, class A licenses this,
Right.
and that's how many it is.
Yes.
So that would be kind of similar to
Right,
the state licensing that we've not put in on the other stuff. Because that is regulated by, in order to get that, because they have to have a state license before they even come.
right.
And they're
Come to
slightly
us.
different too, of the amounts between medical and recreation, if I remember right. Like,
Okay.
class B or class C, I think is medical is 1,500 marijuana and recreational is 2,000 or vice versa. I'll have to look into it again.
Okay.
But I believe they're slightly different.
All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna notate that we need to just kind of take a look at that, and we'll double check that, because if we list the medical in here, Cody just pointed out that there are two different types of license.
Okay,
So that is also something that's, I guess, it might maybe missing, if you will, here. So they're only referring to medical, 500, 1,000, 1,500. There is a difference. Cody says there's a difference between the recreational license, and that'll be three different numbers than what those are. So,
Okay.
we may
have to change
have
something
to
else.
change that. So I'm
Okay.
just gonna put a note on here to, double check between the marijuana ordinance itself and section 4 and those, numbers, and maybe we'll list or not list. Does that work for everybody?
Mhm.
Okay, where are we at here, Claudia?
Pervious.
Yep, page 193.
Okay,
Pervious surface. And part of this is probably just the way it reads. That last sentence.
okay,
Does that make sense to remove the word and capitalize gravel? And it makes the full sentence. Cause it says, there's a sentence there, there's a comma, and the next sentence is, the rest of that is actually a full sentence. That's just the English part of me. We don't have,
okay.
you know,
No, that's fine. All right, so the typo, if you will, there, or punctuation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay, looks like licensee.
That's just a big question because that is kind of confusing to me because there's so many different types of licenses here. Because it's only referring to the medical marijuana. When we have daycare license, we have recreational marijuana licenses, and probably a ton of others.
I don't think we reference or refer to them as licensee in the zoning ordinance, though. I think that only comes up within marijuana.
Okay,
Okay.
And most are, if all the licenses issued by Laura,
Mhm.
state of Michigan.
I don't think we reference them as.
So to me, so when we're talking about a licensee, we're talking about the you know,
Holder of the
the holder,
Right.
the holder of it, not necessarily like you have a class A grower's license for this many
Okay.
plants. So I would think that reads how it should, because it's talking about, it says means a person holding a, you know, that's what we're
Exactly.
Okay.
talking about there.
all right, so let's take that one off the list.
But it is missing recreation. It only talks about medical marijuana.
Right.
there's-
All right, what's the next one there, Claudio? I'm highlighting this, so we can get that changed.
Lot double frontage.
Okay, page, yep, lot
94.
double frontage, page 194.
Building to buildings.
Yeah. If they're existing buildings, not buildings,
Oh, yeah.
so that's just a typo.
Okay,
Waterfront lines next.
Like Michigan.
all right.
Any lot line that abuts Lake Michigan or an inland body of water. Ain't we're far enough away from Lake Michigan, that's not a. It doesn't actually refer to us. Or we could leave it.
67 miles. It is.
Yeah,
Too close.
that's what I wrote out, that's what I wrote too, 57 miles.
No, that's fine.
I do my homework, you guys.
You did a good job.
Okay, next.
Um,
Manufactured housing 2 and 3, remove the word "and" at the end of each paragraph, page 195.
So in the last one, you seen where it's written for a different, where we thought it was written for a different township, right, with Lake Michigan? Am I making sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, nice.
Yep, I do. Okay,
Okay, so we have.
Remove the and at the end of each paragraph.
Because it doesn't
Just
mean it
mean
just
it
says
fits.
and there's nothing there.
It does.
Yeah. Oh, number 3.
Isn't it
Yeah.
weird?
It is weird. They were not.
Didn't even see that. You're right.
all right, next one, the multiple family housing, the phrase "designed for senior living." It's just senior housing. Okay, let's take a look at that. 195, what is multiple family housing?
Designed for senior.
What do you mean?
But not
Yeah.
included. But not included.
Of all ages. Oh,
The phrase.
Multiple family housing is gonna be designed for something other than just senior housing.
So I see what you're talking about there. But I mean, I think that the way I read that is that is a definition to include those things, but to exclude like assisted living.
Okay,
So I don't know if we'd want to remove
the senior housing
the
part.
senior housing part, correct?
Okay, so if it makes sense, let's leave it.
Well, do we have a definition for what we call senior housing though?
I don't think so.
Let me add that to the list of McKenna on the definitions clarification stuff,
Okay,
and we'll see what we think there.
I don't think we have a definition of it in here.
Okay.
State's looking at senior housing,
Just to
so.
let you know,
yeah.
any terms in your zoning ordinance that are not defined, under case law, you default to its plain and ordinary meaning, like dictionary definition.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, I mean, because no zoning ordinance is gonna include a definition for everything, of course.
Okay.
So,
All right.
just give you a heads up on how it works.
All right. That is helpful. Thank you.
all right, so then we just leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take that off the list.
Okay. Open space usable. The question is, why is the word development in a different color and on page 196?
Oh, yeah, down here, it's in green.
Oh, so from the PDF at least, if you click on the green development, it takes you up to the definition of default.
Oh,
I just found that out just now.
okay,
So that is one of the like hyperlinks that just didn't get
didn't get removed.
I mean, they could stay there.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll just say
I mean,
leave it.
It took you to the right place, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, then, good enough.
All right,
Public utility, page 198. Remove demand and what are we talking about here?
I think the word demand shouldn't be there because either can we take it out or put something else there, which has a legal right to demand and receive its services. What about? which
I mean,
has a-
they're a public utility, so I would
Yes.
think that as a public utility and you're the customer, you have the right to.
To demand?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so
That's
we'll leave
as
that.
a public, they're supposed to be providing you that service.
I just thought the word demand.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, 99. Oh, word bedroom is separated in the paragraph 3 times.
It's just a typo.
So
Okay,
those are typos.
all right. We can absolutely take a look at that.
I think maybe some stuff like that, I don't know if you necessarily need a zoning ordinance amendment too,
Okay, so
like.
I have right here in bold letters, ask that about typos. Do we need to make that part of what you would call a text amendment? So to me, a text amendment, guys, I mean, maybe Seth can provide more of a detailed answer, but it is, where we're changing policy or, changing a number or a setback or something meaningful.
Right, big.
Where we've had an interpretation of what we're going to do and we're changing that to something else.
And the typos are just typos. We're not changing anything. We're just making it
Okay.
read like it should. So we don't have to do a text amendment on those. We can just change them.
No, no.
Okay. So, but still important to go through and catch them so that when we do reformat, we will have 2 lists. We will have one that we are noticing for text amendment, and then we will have one that is formatting changes only, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Okay. Are the rest of those all formatting issues, Claudia? Freestanding sign, remove, include the following.
Cause I don't think there's anything following.
There's nothing following it.
There's nothing there.
Okay, same thing on illuminated sign. Page 201, moving the sign.
Yeah, cause it says include the following,
I see
there's
it.
nothing.
Okay. And then moving the sign is the same, or what is the, okay, so you want to say add see illustration?
Yeah,
Okay, pointing over to what we're, okay, I think.
makes sense.
Mhm.
So,
Non-conforming sign, page 201, we need to unbold. Number 23,
I was making.
okay, yep. Portable message sign, the following examples of portable message center signs, 201, add see illustration, okay. Essence of product sign on, that's defined here. Okay, page 201, we should look at that one. The last sentence in project sign, a project sign is not a project sign as defined herein. Now that's slightly confusing.
Wow.
Alright, so we just need to take out one of those. Okay,
okay, makes sense. We're just taking out the one.
yep.
So the projecting sign is not a projecting sign. What are we saying here? Help me out, Mike. What are we?
Projecting.
Well, I mean, we're saying it's not a projecting sign. It's not a projecting sign. I mean, how much more help do you need? Yeah, so that whole thing is,
Take the whole sentence out?
yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And then looks like we had a question on page 205 about wetlands.
Yeah, that was probably just me thinking out loud after reading.
So yeah, I would think in that situation, that definition is probably on a state level what they consider a wetland. So
Okay, because
Okay.
did you read it? 'Cause
Yeah.
A wetland that exhibits these characteristics may be dry on the surface during part or all of the year. Well, if it's dry all of the years, is it a wetland?
I would
That's my question, I guess.
take that more if it was like a drought, kind of,
Okay, so
year without a lot of
that's in the drought
rain or
situation.
something like that.
Okay.
That's how I would,
Okay, that makes more sense.
yeah, it gets pretty swampy.
Sometimes it is like that.
Okay, so we'll take
Yeah,
that out.
I can see why you read that and go, whatever, but I mean, it doesn't change the fact that in times of normal precipitation or even heavy precipitation, it's considered part of the wetland or a watershed or something like that.
Okay.
So I would
So
think,
it could be a wetland and be dry.
correct.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I would think that is covered.
Possible.
Okay, so we'll take that off the list. All right.
Okay, Cody, was there anything on your list that we needed to get to tonight? I'm thinking we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this up for,
No, so the bulk of my list is, I mean, there's one spelling mistake. Everything else is things we have in our table of standards, whether it's permitted or special use. And we just have zero, standards for it.
okay, so,
It's chart of standards, which some of those we just covered it. Some of those we do mention no additional standards. It just flat out says that. Other ones just don't exist in there.
we kind of were talking about this, the other day. So there's a lot of places in there where maybe it's even a special use and there's no additional standards. That doesn't mean that you don't have to come before the planning commission, still a special land use. So you have to meet all the general standards for review. And then if it is a special land use without any, the standards specifically, we can attach a reasonable condition at that time for, an approval, as far as that goes. Now I will say if there are ones that are listed that don't have any standards and we would like to get standards, we certainly can do that. That's a great example of what I would consider to be a text amendment, not a typo situation. And that would be what I would consider to be a policy change. So we would have to go through the process of getting some standards. We would look at them. We would agree on what they want to be, and then you would do a text amendment on that. Cody, is there any that you feel like we need to get standards for?
Probably the indoor gun ranges.
Okay.
whether it's even, it's just like operating hours, noise levels and things like that.
Okay. Is there anything else that just, I mean, and we're gonna talk about this several more times, so it's not
I
like
don't
you're
think so.
on the spot right now.
I'll just mention on number 7, because you
Yep.
asked me to, look at that on the on-street parking.
Yes,
And I looked, and Penfield Township has no ordinance for on-street parking, Emmett Township doesn't, the city of Battle Creek does.
Right.
But the one thing I noticed is that we allow front yard parking where the city doesn't, so I mean, if.
Sure, look around.
Well, I mean.
No, I found it someplace,
okay,
that it said, you know, as long as certain conditions are met, they
Yeah,
can
it's
park in their
considered
front yard.
temporary
Yeah.
front yard.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
but, you know, my question back when we discussed this at the last meeting was that, you know, what is I know we had the incident out at
Well, that's.
Wabascon Lake.
Mhm.
But how would we approach that where we have curbs?
So if I may, this more came up because, over in like Washington, Morgan, North Avenue, those neighborhoods back there, which are curbed. The cars just sit all year, unlicensed plates, so we've been getting them tickets on unregistered cars, but then when the snowplows come in, they're ignoring half of roads
Right.
because they can't. And then we're getting complaints that the roads aren't being plowed and things like that, so that's why I thought we should look into some, whether it's just a time period, we do allow it.
Seth, is that something that would fall under the zoning portion in section 7 under the parking, or is that more of a police powers ordinance?
Because they
Well,
issue.
It's probably both, correct?
They issue
They
tickets.
issue tickets.
yeah, because zoning's gonna regulate zoning district classifications,
Yeah.
right? So you might have different parking standards depending on what zoning district you're in.
Is most of that medium density over there?
Yes. Or, rural and neighborhood residential.
Okay,
Stuff, and then, Valhalla also has had some, complaints about street parking.
so the only tricky part that I can see there is that, you know, so it is, you know, our zoning district classification, so you have, you know, medium density, you know, is gonna be under whatever, you know, X. And then, you know, our rural residential agricultural open space district is gonna be under something else.
Okay, that will,
So we're talking about primarily over there in the Washington, what do you say?
Orchard Park and then
Okay.
Valhalla,
All right, so some of those have curbs, Valhalla does not.
yes.
Same zoning district, but
Mhm.
you know, you're basically gonna be, you know, you're gonna have to, it's gonna be tricky because you have curbs in some where this would apply. And then you don't have curbs on others where if it's, you know, you have to apply it to the whole district. So that's why I would think if it was a police powers, that would make it a little bit cleaner from a zoning enforcement. That way we're not necessarily applying something across an entire district that
Right.
doesn't have that curb situation.
Well, yeah,
I mean-
if you think about it, when, like Tony was saying, the other townships don't have anything, and, the cops that take care of us are Battle Creek cops, but they probably figure we don't either. They've never even looked. They don't know.
Why don't we, see, so you had trouble finding anything
For
for a non-city of Battle Creek.
Right.
Yeah,
I believe she's correct on that side, look.
yeah,
That
but
would-
we
okay.
do. Uh-huh.
To me,
That's why
to me,
people-
to me,
Just-
that sounds like police power and board action in my personal opinion. I'm not saying that we can't.
I agree. It was brought to my attention by one of our cops.
Oh,
okay.
it's probably got called on something.
Multiple times, yes.
Yeah,
They didn't have anything to enforce, so that's.
Exactly.
Right,
uh-huh.
right. So in a cul-de-sac, and you're parking in there, you're still considered parking on the street when you're in there?
Yeah, I think if someone were to call me, I'd be a little more lenient, 'cause it's like, why are you trying to drive by on a cul-de-sac?
Well, when you get a plow
But when
truck,
it's
you get a plow truck in there, and they've got these cars.
You just-
well, that's why if we had some sort of standards for time period,
Right,
for plowing or snow emergencies or something to that
Well,
effect.
the city states, if it's over a certain level, street parking's not.
I would really,
City, I don't know,
They used
I
to
could
have
be wrong,
odd
but
and even.
yeah, they used to have odd and even,
Uh-huh.
and then certain hours, people had to go out and move their car in the middle of the night.
Sure did.
I think that probably is more of a police powers issue.
Agreed.
Sorry, Gene.
Okay.
Okay. All right, yeah. That was a lot, guys. That was really good. So I think what we'll do here is we're gonna compile the list. We had very few, what I would call policy-like changes.
Right.
I'll go ahead and we'll compile those lists together. We'll compile what I think, we'll segregate them into, policy-like changes and then more definition and typo stuff. We'll have the attorney's office take a look at that to make sure that we're, don't need to notice for a text amendment on certain, grammatical stuff or whatever. It doesn't sound like we'll need to. And then we'll have that list going so that when we reformat, they'll have two different lists to work off of. Now that we've kind of gotten in here and kind of figured out what this process is going to be.
And we can add to the formatting.
Yeah, so I guess for those of us that still have to do our sections, I would say you should maybe break your list down into two. So if it is typos and grammatical stuff, that can just go down on one list and be
Okay.
shared with the group, and we can make that part of the packet, and then that can just go on the list. We won't actually have to necessarily discuss that, in these obvious, doubles and, not bolded and this, that, and the other. So if
Okay.
you're specific, like Claudia was, page, what it was, that will save us a lot of time. And then stuff where it's a policy question, separate that and we will specifically talk
Okay.
about that.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay?
Then I'll make that list a whole lot smaller.
Little bit of a moving target here, I know, but, I'm not sure we've ever quite done anything quite like this. So,
Well, we
Anyway.
have, I can verify that.
okay,
I can-
excellent.
Going back to Becky Fields and Sally Shaw, they used to do this and type it up and everything all by themselves. There was nobody proofreading anything. It was never shared with the entire commission.
Wow.
Well,
Never. It
there we
was all
go.
on them.
Blazing a new trail here.
Yeah, so that's why there were so many issues with graphic, with stuff before.
Okay, that being said, do we want to do two more next go around and then two more in November? Okay, so, Tony, why don't we do you, next month, your sections?
2 sections.
Okay, except that for my sections, we covered some of them tonight, but
Okay, yeah,
on section 7, which is the off-street parking chart,
yep,
a lot of that's gonna depend on what changes actually get made in the other,
okay, I see what you're saying. All right,
okay? And-
okay. So I will make a note and we'll
Okay.
make a point to discuss
Okay.
that as we go. So why don't we plan on doing yours?
Okay.
And Kevin, do you want, we'll do yours next month?
Sure. I have something.
Your articles and, article 4 for both of you, your what? I think it's 7 sections of that and then whatever articles we have.
I'm in for us.
Yep. And then if we can go a little faster, I'll also have my stuff ready. Is everybody okay with that? And then, Barb and Shirley, we would do your guys' in November. Okay? All right. Any further questions on that part of the equation? Okay. All right. So that is, 8B, 8C. So I think we don't have a regularly scheduled meeting for next month. I think that we should set a regularly scheduled meeting for the 28th of October at 6 p.m. here at the Township Hall. Seth, is that date a conflict for you at all or
21st or
Okay.
28th?
the 28th?
Don't check.
Okay.
Tuesday the 28th. I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Right.
All right. And do we need to do a voice vote on that, Seth, or can we, we can just set the meeting, can't we?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Next item is gonna be open public comment time.
Speak up out there.
Right. We'll open that at 8:14. And we'll close that at 8:14. Next item is gonna be planning commission member time, Claudia.
I think we did good tonight. I think we got a lot of things sorted out and hopefully we can get through this stuff and have a larger typo list and interchange list.
There you go. Barb,
No, thank you.
Shirley,
Ditto.
Kevin,
I'm saying, went through a lot of stuff.
trustee McKay,
Well done. Well done.
all right, and Tony.
Good job, everybody.
Okay, and I'll go last. I agree. Great job on everybody's part. I know this is kind of, we're on the fly here and changing as we go, and I appreciate everyone's cooperation on that. So with that, I'll move to adjourn the meeting. Our next meeting will be October 28th, 6 p.m. here at the Township Hall at 8:15.